All right, here we go. Let's talk some Niners. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior, and coming up on the show, I'm going to go through my top 5 2025 breakout candidates for San Francisco. And of note, I'm not going to list any rookies. I feel as though that's unfair, and it's not really possible for a rookie to break out. So all these players who we're going to talk about, they have to have at least 1 year under their belt as an NFL player. Breakout candidate number 1, going into year 2, Ricky Pearsall, 31st overall pick by the Niners in the 2024 draft. Obviously, his rookie season was impacted severely after getting shot in the chest in downtown San Francisco in the lead up to the 2024 campaign. And why I think Pearsall can break out in year 2. He's going to have a bigger role with Brandon Ayuk potentially missing the start of the season due to that knee injury that he suffered last October against Kansas City. We saw Ricky Pearsall really come on at the end of last year. There was that stretch for 4 games or whatever it was where he didn't have a catch. Then he started to find his groove a little bit. As a player, slick route running, really nice footwork, good hands. He's tough, willing blocker, plays bigger than his size. And we really didn't get the full glimpse of what Pearsall can be because prior to the year, he was dealing with a couple of different injuries. Then the gunshot happens, and so he misses so much time, and he was just behind the 8 ball during a critical learning period for him. I also think him and Purdy have a good connection on the field and off the field, which can translate to a really solid season. As for those flashes that I speak of, how about the 46-yard touchdown catch and run against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming out of the bye week? That was his first NFL touchdown. He showed off speed in the open field, and then he beat Antoine Winfield, one of the top safeties in the NFL, to the pylon. And then later in the year, after that cold stretch, 8 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown against the Detroit Lions. And then in the regular season finale, 6 catches, 69 yards, very nice, and a touchdown on a contested catch against Arizona. The week before that, in that Lions performance, there was a contested grab on Brian Branch, one of the top young DBs in the NFL. I think back to that Cowboys game as well, the end around that went for more than 40 yards. Pearsall has some juice, and I think this year he's going to be able to show it. Breakout candidate number 2 is second-year cornerback Renardo Green, and obviously also a member of that 2024 draft class. He played excellent as a rookie. He is locked in as an outside cornerback starter, whereas we're not sure if Deommodore Lenoir is going to be on the inside or outside. I would imagine he'll move to the outside so that Upton Stout, who can really only play corner on the inside, nothing wrong with that, as a rookie can be in that nickel spot. Robert Saleh really likes Renardo Green. Consistency was a key for Green last year, where he was just steady from start to finish. He really stepped in and played a big role when Charvarius Ward was dealing with all of those off-the-field problems with his family, and that's when we saw the player who Green can become. I thought he was a little bit overdrafted in the second round, but he looked every bit of a second-round pick. And with better defensive line play for the Niners in 2025, and they didn't have that last year, that will just lead to better play on that back end for the defensive backs. And take a look at how Green fared as a rookie last year. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 69.2. That was in the green, 56th among 222 corners. Solid, right? But how about the coverage grade? That's what really matters. 74.3. That was 28th among 222 corners last year in football. He had 9 pass breakups. That ranked 11th among all corners. He also had 13 passes defended. That was inside the top 20, and that all came on 389 coverage snaps, which was 72nd. And he only had 7 starts to show what he can do. So with more starts, more coverage snaps, I think Renardo Green will really break out and play at a near Pro Bowl level in his sophomore campaign. And I think it's pretty notable what Robert Saleh said about Renardo Green last week. He called Green one of the Niners' best players on the defensive side of the ball, and I just think that better coaching from Saleh and his staff will elevate a lot of players on this Niners defense. Let's hear from you. Who is your top Niners breakout candidate? I want you to drop me a name down below in the comment section. I'm always keeping my eyes peeled to see what you all have to say because I want you to have a voice, and I care about you having a voice here on this show. If you want a Niners jersey heading into the 2025 season, the schedule was released on Wednesday, May 14th. Hopefully everybody's having a great weekend, and if you have some time and you want to get a Niners jersey prior to the season getting underway, get yours now. Spring is here. Summer coming up around the corner. Great time to rock some Niners gear. If you want something other than a Niners jersey, you can still use that link. It'll take you to Fanatics, and you know that Fanatics can hook you up. As far as these Niners jerseys, the 94 throwbacks, current players, former players, road whites, scarlet reds, whatever you want, all types of sizes, men's, women's, kids, all available. Authentic replica jerseys as well. chatsports.com/49jersey. I always have a rule when I get a jersey. I want it to be a legendary player. Therefore, you can wear that jersey forever, and it's timeless. Breakout candidate number 3, running back Isaac Guerendo, another member of that 2024 draft class for San Francisco. And in flashes last year, we saw some really nice moments from Guerendo, who is a very interesting player and athlete at 6 feet, 221 pounds, 84 carries for 420 yards last year, 4 touchdowns, a long of 76. He has getaway speed. He has physicality. He needs to work on his vision. But what I saw from Guerendo last year, the more carries that he got, the more that the game slowed down, the more comfortable he became. And that did surprise me because he had one college start, and it was in his final college game, a bowl game at Louisville. And speaking of the athleticism, you will not find many relative athletic scores better than this. Nick Emanwari, who the Seahawks drafted in the second round, the safety out of South Carolina, he earned a 10. That was this year in the pre-draft. Isaac Guerendo last year, 9'9", 6 foot 221, vertical of 41.5 inches, a broad jump more than 10 feet, and he ran a 4.33 40-yard dash. We saw that last year with the long run against Seattle. We saw it with some of his kickoff returns, especially in the preseason against the Las Vegas Raiders. Guerendo has some pop, and there are a lot of questions around Christian McCaffrey. He's getting a little bit older, obviously. He's in his late 20s, has a big workload and a lot of tread on the tires, and he won the rushing title in 2023 with 1,459 yards. He won NFL Offensive Player of the Year. He was top 5 in MVP voting, 21 total touchdowns, more than 2,000 all-purpose yards. And then what happened last year? 50 carries, 202 yards. Didn't find the end zone once. 50.5 rushing yards per game, 4 yards per carry. All of those numbers just plummeted from the year prior. So did the games. He played a quarter of the games that he played in 2023. 16 games played in 2023, only 4 games played in 2024. When you're an older player, especially at the running back spot, you're coming off a year in which you didn't play. You dealt with bilateral Achilles tendonitis and a knee injury. Whoever's behind you, I think could have an opportunity. And Isaac Guerendo has that opportunity. Breakout candidate number 4, safety JI'Ayir Brown, going into a really big year 3 for him. He replaced Talanoa Hufanga beautifully as a rookie, was the Niners starting safety in the Super Bowl as a rookie, picked off Patrick Mahomes in that game. And then in year 2, there were a lot of head-scratching moments. And I'm high on Brown. I liked him coming out of Penn State. The relative athletic score wasn't good. It was under 6, but I liked his versatility at Penn State, the physicality. His 40-yard dash in the pre-draft wasn't good. It was around 4.5, 4.6. But last year, I know that he had some bad moments. And here on the show, I criticized him a little bit. But it wasn't all that bad. All right, the overall PFF grade in the green at 64.8. He needs to get better as a run defender. 53.6 was the grade there, 150th among 171 safeties. But his coverage grade just a tick under 70. That was 33rd. That's starting caliber. He also has to get better and stop missing tackles. 12 missed tackles. That was 145th among 171 safeties. But his stops, 24 of them, that was 20th. So there was some good to his game. There was definitely some bad. He over-pursued. He took bad angles. He was a bad tackler. But I think with quality coaching and better coaching from Robert Saleh and better defensive line play, that can greatly benefit JI'Ayir Brown. And with Malik Mustafa having surgery on that injured ACL, he is penciled in as a starter, and he has every opportunity to rebound off of last year. I think the starting safeties week 1 could very well be Jason Pinnock, who's long and can get downhill and plays well downhill, alongside JI'Ayir Brown. Also look out for former second-round pick by the Falcons, Richie Grant out of UCF, Marquis Siegel, a player who the Niners drafted out of Kansas State, George Odom, more of a career special teamer. And then breakout candidate number 5 is linebacker Dee Winters, another young player here who we have seen him play some entertaining football to begin his career since being a late rounder out of TCU a few years ago. Serious flashes at times, and the athleticism is there. 4.49 40-yard dash in the pre-draft. That shows up on tape. He plays fast. I'd like to see him diagnose fast as well. At times he can struggle with that. At times his aggressiveness, which can be a great strength, can be a big weakness because he will over-pursue and take himself out of plays. But last year he got some reps. He's had some time to bulk up. He was only 221 pounds coming out of TCU. That's pretty light for a linebacker. But playing alongside Fred Warner can really help him, and he should win a starting role. I also want to see Robert Saleh maybe get aggressive with using Dee Winters to his abilities. Put him inside the tackle box, in between the defensive ends, as a delayed blitzer. Use him as an edge, as an extra guy. That would be a lot of fun. And with some of the coverage numbers last year, there is room to grow for Dee Winters. Coverage grade, 80.0, sixth among all off-ball linebackers last year. Now, the coverage snaps lower at 180. That was 73rd among 189 linebackers. Needs to be a better run defender. Pass rush, I just don't think Nick Sorensen really used him well. But the coverage grade, that's what I'm talking about right there. And my guess right now, starting linebackers for the Niners, Dee Winters, young player. All-pro Fred Warner in the middle. And then Nick Martin out of Oklahoma State, another rookie whose 2023 season was incredible. Triple-digit tackle numbers, 16 TFLs, 6 sacks, couple of PBUs. One of my favorite picks, also like Dee Winters, an undersized linebacker too. Honorable mention breakout candidate, defensive tackle Evan Anderson. I think that he could be in a spot where he could get a good amount of defensive tackle snaps as a backup. What I would do, start the 3 rookies up front. Mykel Williams, CJ West, and Alfred Collins. Why? They're the best players. So play your best players. But the backups behind them, you have Jordan Elliott, who is a veteran, who is what he is at this point. You have Kevin Givens, Kalia Davis, and Evan Anderson. I think Evan Anderson can be a fringe starter, very high-level backup for San Francisco. And I think he could be in store to have a big year as a former UDFA. A lot of people will say, Chase, you didn't include Dominic Pooney? Technically, I don't think he's going to break out because I thought in year 1 as a rookie, he was phenomenal. Arguably the best right guard in the rookie draft class from 2024. So there's no room for him to break out. Only room for him to continue to get better and become an elite player because he was bordering on that at times. Let me know before I dip on out of here, who did I miss as a Niners breakout candidate? Again, join the conversation down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe.